The one night where one man's entire life completely falls apart. Over the phone. Locke, released in 2013 and is directed by Stephen Knight, who has also directed such films like Hummingbird and Serenity. And this film is starring Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is on screen for the entire film. There is no one else on screen. This is a one-man show, and I love one-man shows. But you also hear the voices of Olivia Colman, Ruth Wilson, Andrew Scott, Ben Daniels, and Tom Holland, who plays Tom Hardy's son over the phone in this movie. And I just think it's kinda cute and kinda cool. Again, bringing it all back to superheroes on this channel. You have Venom, and his son is little tiny Peter Parker, little tiny Spider-Man. It's a fun little detail. And also Tom Holland and Tom Hardy are using their real British accents, which is a rarity. Usually I hear them with their forced American accents. You know how all of us Americans talk like this. But the reason why we're talking about Locke today is because it was a PayPal recommendation from one of my biggest supporters on this channel, Autumn Blood. You have sent in so many recommendations over the last year, the last couple of months. It's almost to the point now where I need to just give you like your own day. Like I'm pretty sure after this week I'm just going to be giving you Thursdays because you've given me so many recommendations, and I'm trying to, stay with the theme of this show. So don't get me wrong, I really do appreciate all your recommendations, especially films that I've been meaning to watch. I've just never gotten around to watching them, and this being one of them. Ivan Locke is a construction foreman who is about to have the longest night of his entire life, and probably the longest drive. And tomorrow is one of the biggest builds in all of Birmingham. However, he has chosen not to be on site, and he's constantly on the phone with his assistant, trying to make sure that everything is in place for tomorrow's build. But the reason why he's not going to make it to the construction site is because he has chosen to drive to the hospital to be there for the birth of his son. The problem, though, is that the birth of this son is not from his wife, who he is madly in love with. So this hour-and-a-half film is him balancing all of these different phone calls with his assistant, with the construction manager and the big producers and all of them, and with the one-night stand who is going into labor and is going to need some surgery, and also calling his son and his wife, his entire family, to try to keep the news away from his children, but also trying to be completely honest with his wife. Yeah, now he's trying to be that. Let me start off by saying that one-man shows are incredibly difficult, and they are incredibly taxing on you. I've done a one-man show that was about 20-25 minutes long, and that killed me. This one goes on for an hour and a freaking half, and all it is just him driving. There's your pitch. But Tom Hardy is a magnificent actor. He's a very honest actor. So when he's driving and he's trying to keep that cool, calm-headed, normal tone of voice over the phone speaking with all of these people, you can just see all of the anxiety and the nervousness and just him wanting to punch out a window and him trying to hold that back during the entire drive. Because when his night starts, he has a wife who loves him very much. But then now he's gonna come clean about the one-night stand that he had about 9 months ago. And then he's also talking with his assistant, who was a little bit of an idiot and who has never done a big construction site by himself before. And of course, this being the biggest one, he's freaking out. His boss's boss is freaking out because the construction company in Chicago, USA is freaking out that he's not gonna be there, and they're afraid that everything's gonna go wrong. His whole life, his whole night goes to shit. And it's one of those situations where, it's like you dug your own hole, and it's a little hard for me to connect with you because you do make these, not so bright decisions. He keeps telling his wife, no, it was just one night, it was just one mistake, I only did it once. And I'm like, yeah, that's your rationale behind it, but you did it once. As opposed to, her not doing it ever. Yeah, the movie doesn't paint Locke out to be, the best stand-up person. But that is his whole mission in going through with this long-ass drive and all these phone calls, is that he is trying to right all of the wrongs in his life because he doesn't want to end up like his father. And he has little asides to his father in the backseat of his car, and you get the sense that his father was estranged, he ran out on him when he was a kid, and you can tell he has this personal mission to never be like him, to never abandon his kid, to never abandon his family, regardless of whatever the situation is. And that's what he is doing, and that is something to admire in this character. You just don't make those dumbass decisions in the first place, and you won't find yourself in that situation, but you can commend him for trying to right the wrongs and trying to do the right moral thing. This movie is also a fascinating study of how people conduct themselves when they are on a call, because it is completely different from when they're just sitting in a car with someone in the passenger seat talking to them. Your tone of voice initially goes up a little bit, and you try to convey a nice, calm, peaceful tone. And if you're getting annoyed or if you're getting angry, you might flex your fist, or you might put your hand on your head and do just like little massages on your temples while keeping that tone of voice, because you're trying to keep everyone calm, even though you know the situation is pretty shitty. And that's a very interesting concept. I'm just realizing that he had the most calmest, most level-headed tone of voice throughout this entire film, and it's everyone else who is calling him, or he is calling, who is freaking out. His wife, understandably so, is shouting the entire time. His assistant is getting drunk, he's exclaiming, he is crying, he's freaking out. The son's excited because he's watching the football match on TV. Boss's boss, who is labeled as bastard on his contacts. Don't you love that too? I love all the little nicknames that you have for people in your contacts. Isn't that fun? Wow, I just sound like a frickin' dad there. Yeah, all those nicknames you give your family and friends and your contacts. Those are pretty nifty, eh? And please know that this film, I guess, technically doesn't resolve itself. This is all just one night of driving on the interstate, and the film ends when he gets off of the interstate. Very ambiguous. It leaves the ending very open, figuring out what he's going to do. You have a sense of the choices that he is going to make due to what is presented to him, but again, it's very ambiguous. One of those artistic style scripts out here that I really enjoyed. I think it took me a little bit getting into it. It took me about like 15-20 minutes to figure out exactly who this person is, what they do, and then also the situation that he got himself in as to why he slept with this woman that one night, and why he made the choice to do so, and why he's deciding not to conceal that just entirely, why he's coming completely clean to his wife. This film, it's very thought-provoking, and it's a great character study. The lighting, the cinematography of the drives, and how the camera is placed on the outside of the windshield, looking in, watching him react to all these phone calls, very impressive. I can see how some people would be bored by this, or, you know, just because of the type of person that Locke is, just have no connection to him, or connection to his situation, and just completely shut off. But I found this film very enjoyable. I'm gonna give Locke 3.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I am above average.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part of my videos where I pick which movie I'm going to be watching next. And the next one is another PayPal recommendation from Autumn Blood, who's always been there, giving me great recommendations. Like this one, a movie called Harvey. I feel like it was nominated for Best Picture. I could be wrong about that, but it feels like a Best Picture type film, Oscar baity type film for me. But of course, I've never seen it before, so we'll check it out next time. So guys, have you seen Locke? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before, and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell to see you the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel with my review of Harvey. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.